put your hands together for my good friend, Mr. Phil de Lange. Yeah! Woo! Hello! This is cool. Thank you for coming, all 10 of you. Huh? Okay, Jock. So, thank you, Jared, for not warming up the crowd. I appreciate that. Alright, this is awkward because this is for YouTube too. Alright. For those of you that have seen my set before, and you're probably thinking, I've seen this joke already, so I'm not going to laugh. Don't. Jock. I have to tell you, I'm feeling kind of nervous because a little bit earlier on, somebody told me that I look like the love child of Helen Ziller and Tintin. Fuck you for laughing at that guy. So the price of food has gone up by 7.3%, you know. And I think it's pretty sad because it means now I can't get my potatoes at Woolworths anymore. I have to go to Pick n Pay and Checkers with the rest of the bourgeoisies, and I have to get those potatoes that are differently shaped and sized from one another, and then I have to pick them up with my own hands and put them in that rolly packet thingy that's difficult to open, and then I have to take it to the lady at the scale that's always grumpy, but sometimes she's not even there, and then I have to walk around the shop with my cuck bag of potatoes, and then I have to find somebody in uniform, and then I have to be like, "Excuse me, do you work here?" And it's not that I'm fussy, I just happen to like my potatoes to be GMO-friendly, organic, free-range, massaged, washed and hand-reared from childhood by a Macedonian fair trade farmer at optimal temperatures of 16.2 degrees, grown up in the moors of northern Yorkshire and then blessed by Angus Buchan. Also known as white privilege flavored potatoes. I've recently found out that Afrikaans is the sexiest language we have in this country. Because it's the only language that has 2 words for orgasm. You get the much anglicized and somewhat Germanic orgasme, which sounds kind of ugly and sounds like you need batteries for it to work. But then you get the very sensual and very beautiful claim do it, which means to die. But just a little bit. So I'm sure some of you can tell that I'm a very romantic guy. I have a girlfriend that lives in Fisher, but like she doesn't know she's my girlfriend. You might say that she's my false babe. This is the kind of jokes that I like to tell that get murmurs. This is the weirdest gig I've ever done. And I once performed at a Catholic church at 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning. I'm going to do a musical impression. Out of the 5 of you that are here, how many of you like Ed Sheeran? This will go fantastically then. This is my impression of Ed Sheeran making fun of Oscar Pistorius. I don't care. Alright, here we go. When your legs don't work like they used to before. That joke still worked, even though I said when your hegs don't work. What the fuck is a heg? I like to name people based on the suburbs that they live in. So like you guys are all Durban villains, Bell villains, Melkostrantium. I do it all the time. People from Athlone I call Athloners. People from Musenberg I call Musenbergies. People from Camps Bay I call fucking assholes. I live in Vredehoek. I live in a flat here in Vredehoek. And my flat gets very cold, so I'm thinking of moving to a warmer estate, you know? It's a fucking good joke, okay? I don't care what you guys think. I don't need your approval. I'm decent, alright? I did a gig with Trevor Noah last month, and he spoke to me. He walked off stage and he said that was good, and then he left. I don't need your approval. That's going to be the name of my next show. I don't need your approval. 5 people are going to be at the show. You see, you're proving my point. Yeah. I'm not originally from Cape Town. I've been living here 7 years now. I'm from a different country though. I'm from Bloemfontein. This is a weird place. It's interesting. When I grew up, we had 2 official languages, Praat Afrikaans or Fayobek. And I walk around every day and I hear people say things like, "Hello, Santi. Kom so Santi. Ons Murio Santi. You're going to meet my friends, Frank and Del. And I'm going to give you a meatball sandwich." You know, you're laughing, but I don't think there's any way for an English teacher to conduct those things. Especially when you're homeschooled, you know what I mean? Love I'm performing these jokes here as if you've never heard them, Joe. Oh, we're recording. Okay, we need to edit this bit out again.
Actually, I haven't heard this one.
You haven't heard this one? Okay, I'll continue. Just like then actually laugh at it.
Or is it just...
It's fine, I get it. It's not that funny. I understand. Yeah. It's interesting growing up in Bloom. I experienced that and I tell these stories on stage. And then some people don't take it very well. Like I was doing a gig at a B-Slots bar in Brackenfell last year, and I did some of this material, and there were some people that obviously didn't appreciate it. And I just need to paint you guys a picture of the type of venue that I was at. So you know when you pull up to a place, and there are more double cab buckies than parking spots. You know when you're walking and you can't breathe because there's no ventilation, there's just cigarette smoke. And by the door, there's 3 Grand Slots machines, and there's somebody sitting on one of them with a Pikachu onesie. That was the venue. There was a thatch roof inside the roof. And I walked in, and I did some of this material, and there was a guy who obviously didn't appreciate it, and he stood up in the middle of my set, and he just pointed at me like this. Now, I don't know if you know this, but when I get confrontational with people, they get confrontational back, and then I get even more confrontational when they get confrontational with me. So he's standing there like this, and I say to him, "What's wrong? Are you doing a Nazi salute? The 4 fingers got chopped off in an unfortunate biltong cutting incident." Which is when he decided to walk towards the stage. Which is when I decided to get off of the stage. And I tried to get to my car, but he got there before me. And he did this thing to me where somebody grabs you by your t-shirt and they start pointing in your face at the same time. I don't know if this has ever happened to any of you, but it's the most intimidating position for any South African to be in. I call it the Brackenfell headlock. And it's impossible to get out of this because you're paralyzed by the smell of Rothman cigarettes. You know what I mean? So this was me in that situation, and then I figured it's a good idea for me to practice my apology in my head in Afrikaans before I say it out of my mouth. And in my head I'm going over it like, "Meneer, ek is so jammer. Moet asseblief nie vir my moer nie, dankie." It's not what came out of my mouth though, because I was all confused and discombobulated, and what came out of my mouth sounded more like, "Dude, I can smell the apartheid under your finger." And then he kicked my ass. But I feel like I deserve that, because you can't just say that to someone. It's not like a tennis ball, you can't just throw it at them. It's not like, "There you go, apartheid for you." Can't say that to somebody. I deserve that, right? But I just feel like there was a part of me that woke up some kind of trauma that I experienced in high school because I was somebody who was bullied, surprise, right? And there was this guy in my class, his name was Brad. Of course his name was Brad. I'm sure some of you know Brad. Now Brad is the guy that studies for 6 years doing a BCom degree that should take 3 years to finish, but then he still ends up working for his dad's company. Being a social media manager. A digital guru, as he likes to say. That's Brad. And Brad was the guy that picked on me in school, and the one day, he just pushed me a little bit too far. He went up to the blackboard in class, and he made a list of everyone that is most likely to die a virgin. And I was number 1. And there was nobody else on the fucking list. So I got angry and I looked at him and I said, Brad, I think your parents need to buy you bigger clothes because you kind of look like Play-Doh stuffed into a condom right now. Just when Brad decided to walk towards me and I tried to get away, but he got there before me and he grabbed me by my t-shirt and he started pointing in my face at the same time. And then something saved me, and I know this is a little bit hectic, alright, and I know this is going to get awkward. But the thing that saved me was that Brad was epileptic, right? I knew it. There's more to the story. See, we had a family friend that had epilepsy, very serious condition, so I know how to help somebody that has an episode. You've got to make sure they're okay by putting them on their side and making sure they're not swallowing their tongue. And here's the thing, when somebody has an episode, they don't remember what happened in that moment. Their memory completely blanks. And I knew this, so I took advantage of the situation. And then I figured it's a good idea for me to make amends with Brad. So while he's lying on the floor, busy waking up, I lean down, and I put my hand on his shoulder, and I look at him in his eyes, and I say, don't mess with me again, bitch. And he didn't. I had a wonderful school career after that. Then what else to talk about? What do you guys want to talk about? How many of you guys donate blood? Don't lie, dude. I saw you smoking weed. I appreciate you trying to be part of the show for the recording. But no, that's the thing. Like you're not allowed to smoke. I mean, you are allowed to smoke as much as you want. You're not allowed to donate blood if you smoke weed. They say it's a thing, like in the last 6 months, if you consume marijuana, you're not allowed to smoke. You're not allowed to donate blood. You know what I mean? Hey, do what you want, fuck it. Which I think is unfair. I think there should be people that smoke weed to donate blood. Because think about it, if you're in hospital recovering from like a car accident or something, what do you need? Rest, pain relief, and you need an appetite. What's going to give that to you? Blood from people who smoke weed. They didn't let me donate blood because I had a tattoo in the last 6 months. I didn't know this was a thing. So I said, I've got a tattoo in the last 6 months. They said, no, you can't donate blood because you might have hepatitis. What? They said, no, you probably don't, but you might. That's unfair for someone to say to someone, like, I'm freaking out now. I'm becoming a hypochondriac. I decide to go to the doctor and I get all the checks done. I'm like, I want a full body check with blood tests and everything. I have a blood test done. I go to the doctor. I say, I want a full body check. He says, okay, go into my room and drop your pants. Okay. So I go into his room. And I'm standing there and he's busy checking me out. He's got that little thing with the thing. Checking me out. And all of a sudden he starts putting his hand over here, right? He says, I'm feeling something funny. Could you cough? So I cough. He says, I think you might have a hernia. And for those of you that don't know, a hernia is basically when you get fucked up, right? And then out of nowhere, his hand goes down. And he grabs me by me. So how's the testicles doing? My doctor did this. But instinctually, when his hand went here, I all of a sudden just went, and I had locked his hand in place. But in the same motion, pulled him closer towards me, so we were like face to face like this, with his hand locked in between my legs. And we're making eye contact. And he looks at me and he says, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Your hands are cold." I'm not usually this shrunk. Yeah, I don't think that situation would have been as awkward if he didn't end it with a forehead kiss, you know? It's strange. Yeah. Yeah, I get a little self-conscious on stage, and I started off my set by which like 3 of you laughed at, about looking like Helen Ziller and Tintin, and you know it hurts. Like people feel the need to come up to you all the time and tell you what you look like as if you don't know, you know? And I don't think that's fair. So trust me, I also look in the mirror every day, and I also see somebody who looks like he invented white people. I know what I look like. It's not necessary to remind me. And now it's getting to the point where I look in the mirror every day and I have to play this game with myself. I'm like, don't worry, fool. It could have been worse. You could have been the white guy with white guy dreadlocks. You see, some of you are thinking, yeah, fuck that guy. Because you've seen that guy walking around and you've been like, why couldn't he stay in Muizenberg? Why must he come here and impose his lifestyle on me? And I met that guy rocking the daisies. He was there, playing his fucking fire poi with a hula hoop at the same time. And he looks at me, he's like, "Hey brother, do you want to buy a feather or some acid?" He didn't give me a choice to just say no. But I was interested in this guy, so I was like, "What's your name?" And he's like, "My name is Moonbeam." That's not your name. What's your real name? He says, "Okay, fine. When I was born, my creators, his parents, decided to call me Cornelius." The best part about that gag is that you never know when there might be one of them in the audience. Usually when somebody throws a hacky sack at you. Or somebody wearing a repurposed banana leaf t-shirt or something. Oh shit, yeah. I've got a career in the radio industry. It hasn't been going well at all. So I decided to start comedy, and now I'm finally getting to that point in my career where I'm still not making any money, you know. But I used to work in radio, and I was doing a show when I was broadcasting. We were doing what we call an outside broadcast. We basically take your studio to a different location. And I was doing an outside broadcast at Kenilworth Centre, living the dream, you know. And with a slip of one word, I ruined my entire career. So I played the song on my show by Elton John and George Michael, "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me." It's one of the best pop songs that has ever been written. It was recorded live at Wembley in 1989. Raised millions for charity. One of the best pop songs of all time. And I'm the doers that switched on my microphone and messed it up with one word by saying, "That's George Michael and Elton John. Don't let your sun go down on me." Now I do comedy. It's not going well either. Yeah. Somebody told me recently that I should go to Germany to find people that look like me, you know. So I went and I found nobody that looks like me in Germany, but I did find out that they're learning Afrikaans in Germany, and that also they have a fantastic sense of humor. Now there's this unfair misconception that exists that German people aren't funny. In fact, I think German people are very funny. They're so funny that they never laugh at anything. And they have a great sense of humor. It's very sarcastic. And I learned this when I checked into my hostel and I tried to order something to eat from the guy at the front desk. His name was Wolfgang, which is the Cornelius of Germany. And to me that sounds like he's a German rapper. Like he's gonna walk onto stage with a basketball t-shirt and Crocs, you know, and he's gonna have a picture and he's gonna be like, my name is Wolfgang, the illest of Bavaria. All the ladies want to get upon my area, you know. So that's Wolfgang. And Wolfgang was the most sarcastic man I'd ever met. So I tried to order a sandwich and I looked at the menu and I tried to speak German, bearing in mind I don't speak German. So I just spoke what I thought was German with what I thought was a German accent. So I looked at the sandwich and I pointed at it and I said, Ich will dick heaven. And he looked at me and he said, do you perhaps speak English? And I said, yes, I do. And then he said, isn't it wonderful that we have this method of communication in which we can exchange ideas and banter with one another? I said, yes, it is, Wolfgang. Can I please order the sandwich? And he said, I don't know, that is a piece of paper. Perhaps you want me to bring you a scissors and you might cut it out. So I'm getting pissed off at the situation. I'm like, you know what, I'm leaving. I'm going to go find something to eat outside in Berlin. Can you tell me if it's safe to walk around here and use public transport at night? And he said, this is Germany, of course it is safe. It is very safe, apart from the occasional murder. Just so you know, this was the face he pulled at that sentence. And that makes everything creepy. And he continued, he was like, before you go, tell me what time would you like to eat breakfast? Or perhaps you might want me to bring you some room service. Not now, Wolfgang. And I told you, they're learning Afrikaans in Germany. How many of you are Afrikaans? Jacques? Are you Afrikaans? Jacques Erasmus? From Melkbosstrand? How many of you are Afrikaans? Is it just the front row? No, you guys? No. So it's just the three of us. Yes? Okay. No one else. Alright. Cool. They're learning Afrikaans in Germany, right? And I know that sounds like a good thing to a lot of South Africans, but it's not a good thing because they're learning Afrikaans through die Antwoord. I had a lady walk up to me in a bar when she found out I was from South Africa and she was like, this is funny, we're from South Africa. I know how to speak one of your languages. I know how to say this. Yes, maar ek hou van jou baie. Could you please tell me what this means? So I told her. Said it's a crazy sewing machine, but we like you a lot. It's considered a compliment in Cape Town. You should come visit and go to Kensington and say it to someone over there. Yeah. Anyway, I'm kind of getting towards the end of my set. So I feel like maybe it's a good idea for me to end off with some music. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm going to do a rap song for you guys. About the hardships of living in Claremont. And I tell you what, there isn't a single white boy in this world that is immune to the effects of Slim Shady. Not even someone like Steve Hofmeyer. And I've always wondered, what would that sound like if Steve Hofmeyer were to watch 8 Mile and relaunch his career into rap music? So this is Steve Hofmeyer reimagined in 8 Kilometer. Okay, look, if you had one shot, or one opportunity, or one fucking chance to seize everything you ever wanted in one moment, would you capture it, or just let it slip? Hey yo, these bombs are nuts, these weak arms feel sat. This bomb and Dolly's Prince and Squiddy, mom's Babuti. My name is Steve, South Africa's big beef. I didn't want to listen when they asked me to leave. I've got bros and hoes in different area codes, like Orania and Para North. And many to my main man, Danny K, the 50 Cent of RSA. Because that's exactly how much money he made in his last album set. This is my best Danny K impression. Yeah. I took her to the candy shop. I made her lick my first pop. Keep playing bookie, don't you stop. I'm like a farmer, check my crop. Back to you, Steve. I wanna take you to the soaky, a little bit. Maybe look under your rocky, a little bit. Get to kissing and touching, a little bit. Until I prematurely die, just a little bit. Thank you very much, everybody. You've been fantastic.